to do. So welcome everyone. We're so glad that you're here to join us for the Microsoft session on Word, and we're going to kick it up a notch. We did one last week with like an introduction to Word. Today we're going to take it up a little bit further and show you some dynamic workarounds, some technology tips and tricks, but also related to projects that you could instantly create and even use this afternoon or tomorrow in your instruction. So all kinds of levels that we'll have. Once again, we'll be using the back channel chat area. So again, on your bottom Zoom toolbar or that ribbon bar, there'll be a chat icon. If you click on the chat icon, that will allow for you to open up a text window with that text box. And in there, you can introduce yourself, tell us the teaching influence that you inspire and motivate your teacher friends or students that you work with. And as you can see, we've got more teachers that are joining us by the minute. So Jason, welcome from Wichita, Kansas. Laura, welcome from Kansas as well. What a beautiful Midwest representation today. This is great. I'm originally from Northeast Iowa, and most of my career I lived in Minnesota and in Wisconsin. So you're going to hear my accent come through. But I live in beautiful Cave Creek, Arizona now, and it's about 40 miles just north of Phoenix. And it's a rural community of only about 5,000 people, but I absolutely love it. So thank you so much for joining everyone today. I'm going to minimize my chat screen for now, but I'm going to refer to it frequently and often to ensure that we all can have our collective intelligence shared through critical reflection throughout our learning today as a team. Lerma, thank you so much for joining again. Lilia, thank you so much for joining, and others. Wendy Chu is here with us, so lots of teacher friends. So as you can see, we have a great representations of teachers from all over the globe, and we're hoping that you'll walk away with 1, 2, or 3 new strategies with Microsoft Word. So what I'm going to do at this time, teacher friends, I am going to kind of escape out of this window because I want to make sure I can share my screen with you. And I'm going to share my screen, and I have a couple different presentation collections I'd like to share with you. Those of you that were with me for our coloring book section, and let's make sure that I have this one for you. Let's go back here. Let's make sure that this is the screen that you're seeing. And in case if you're not seeing my screen, let me know. But what I have up on my screen share at this time is I'm showing you a high school graduation booklet. So I want to make sure that you're seeing that. Is that correct by everybody? Just to make sure that you're seeing it. Okay, thank you for the nod, Carolyn. That helps me greatly. This high school book that I have here today is one example that we showcased the other day. When you're using Microsoft Word, there's so much potential that you can create something that's normally ordinary and make it extraordinary. So for instance, this is a high school graduation booklet that I'm making for my niece who's graduating from high school in Iowa, and she's going to Iowa State this fall and going to major in computer science. I know that that particular career is going to be a very heavy lift for her. She's only one of 8 girls out of hundreds of boys in the computer science program. And I know this is going to be quite stressful. So I thought, what a better way to create a social emotional learning color book for her. You can easily set this up in Word. And the beauty of Word, you can start out with just a multitude of different templates. So I started with one that I thought was easy for myself. I added a title. I can add a picture. I can add some beautiful font styles of a playback of a picture with a transparency. So that's how I got the word congratulations in. I can do a dedication page. I can give an overview of a page of why we're giving her this relaxation coloring book to help her find brain-based balance between all of her studies and her jobs that she'll be doing. Then what I did is I actually took some of her high school highlights of her digital photos, put them through a pencil sketch program, and then brought those digital photos back in. So now that she has an integrated coloring book of moments in her life that made her most happy. So I've got a prom picture of her. I've got some outdoor nature pictures. She loves to be outside. She lives on a farm in Northeast Iowa. They have lots of kitty cats. And then in between, I created some beautiful pictures that were already part of the original coloring book template that look like it is a beautiful mandala painting, and part of that, it is sequential for her, that it's got a repeating pattern, and that she can kind of get lost in that coloring. So I put some of those in there. So as you can see, I've got some more pictures from her state debate, being accepted at Iowa State, and then again, some other colorings of pictures that I have in. Pictures of her mom and dad and herself, and then I continued onward. So this is one example of what you can create. So I'll showcase and model a few of that today. Okay, I'm going to close that particular one out at this time. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share a new screen with you. And here's another new screen. And so with this new screen that I'm going to share, now you should be seeing, let me give you the interactive uh, remote learning tic-tac-toe board. This is another one that I shared the other day. This particular one is where you can simply set up, add a title, and then add like a tic-tac-toe board look and feel. And what is really nice about this is that I can insert a table, select my cells, and then change the margins of my particular columns and rows. And what I like about doing this for students is that creating a tic-tac-toe board gives them choice of when I'm creating a final product, but also it gives them, and let me make this larger. So I'm going to go on here, let me a little bit larger for you so you can see it. And let me go into view that you can see, and let's zoom in a little bit more. So I'm going to go into my zoom tool. I'm going to make it larger so that you can see it for playback purposes. I can even go into zoom more, customize it, or choose a preset so that you can see it on the screen today. But what I like about tic-tac-toe boards is this is perfect for any age level, whether you're working with littles when we talk about our preschool kiddos, or elementary children, middle school, high school, and university, because you can really level up the choices that children can choose that they're most passionate about, but also help them with a design challenge to dig deeper into necessary content. This one's leveled up that we're really focusing on the central idea of the center is that the children first watch a kidlit TV video. And I really do enjoy the site that's called Kidlit TV. It provides you beautiful, robust stories that are as read alouds, not only for our littles, but also high school children. And you can use this at the university level too. Children need to be read to so they can visualize that story and then even interpret and understand complex text, even if their Lexile reading level is at a different type that they're not quite there. But it ensures that every child has an opportunity to be offered and afforded those challenging learning opportunities. Now, with this, I created this tic-tac-toe board with choice. They could create a Word document to create their own new story. They could create a Word document that's picture-based to create their favorite focus of wishes, pulling in Bitmojis. They could do a sketch and a model. But yet what they can do too is they can create a brochure within Word. They could create, design their own board game. What a wonderful way for students to provide essential learning components of sequencing, logic, and safe risk-taking behavior, because they can create the challenge cards. And it takes a lot of strategic thinking to create a game board. But what a better way to show what they know around a concept or a thematic unit that's been introduced into the classroom. And then they can reteach their peers. You could create a card game around the same element. You could build a prototype as well. And having kids design and create with craft-like features of material objects. But then also having kids recreate and rewrite a whole new story. So these are just some examples I wanted to share with you to begin with. Okay, let me share with you a new share. Here's one other level I'd like to share with you, and then we will get designing. Let me minimize this one for a moment, and then we'll get back to a comic board. So this comic board that we have for you at this time, this is a template that's also built into Word. And what is this appearing at the beginning is that you can build simple text boxes that can come in, and then students can actually create and sketch their own and bring those pictures in. or they can bring pictures in that they can search for to retell their stories as a graphic novel or a comic book story. So here's something that's real simplistic, but this could be now that if I even have a tablet device that I can do a digital markup even with a pen, and now I can write the story that way, or I can insert speech bubbles that the kids can do. So this is a template. Now when I scroll down to the second page, you can see that this is an empty template. So this is something that kids can still use as a print off, that they first do hard copy and plan their sketch and their script. And then they go into Word, and then it's set up as a template that you can provide, and then they design it from there. Sometimes that simple structure is exactly what kids need to get started with, to get those ideas flowing and the words flowing as well. So you can see there's different layouts of all these different comics that I have here. But this is all also built into the Microsoft Word templates, that if you did not know that it was there. Let me close out of this one for a moment. Thank you so much for being patient as we get to and from a lot of things today. And now I'm going to share with you one more idea. And this particular idea, before we create ours together, this is also a tic-tac-toe board that I created even this morning because I wanted to share with you how quick and easy it was. I created this entire board with pictures and linked every picture with a hyperlink to a read aloud story within 15 minutes this morning. That's how simple that you could create a project. And what I like about this is that not only can I insert a table, and when I insert the table, I can within each cell add a picture. And when I add a picture, I can also embed a hyperlink that takes me to a storybook page, or it can take me to a read aloud of the author that wrote the book. So for this particular one, most of you may have heard of him, and his name is Eric Carle. He's kind of an essential author that we introduce to our students, especially at the preschool levels and the primary and elementary years. And he's such a wonderful author and an illustrator. And by showcasing to students that this is a real life future career, that this could be a possibility for kids, but also to help students understand that an author and illustrator, every one of their writing techniques and their emotional tone and feel of their story and the way that they paint and create their illustrations has a story to tell. And so this gives them an emotional connection to that author and illustrator. The center one here I have is of actually Eric Carle. So when I click on Eric Carle here, what happens, it's going to open up, and what that will take me in will take me basically right out to the storybook that we have. And I'll just pause it instead of him reading it back. But what we have is that it will play that storybook for us, and that they can actually see the author read the story as it goes. So let me pause that. Thank you, teacher friends. Let me bring it back up. Okay, so what I like about this is that you can create a Microsoft Word document that can truly be interactive for all of your students of every ability. I've even used such things as bingo boards, choice boards, even just 3 strategies to differentiate the types of choices that a child feels comfortable to interact with new content. As long as there's choice, students will jump right onto that right away and usually find something that they're most interested in. But making it truly interactive, that's what we're going to do today with creating your own. So we'll get started with this. But I wanted to share with you first and foremost that there is so much opportunity here built into Word, and especially when you save it also into your OneDrive and then share it out, that kids actually can create and be co-collaborators of designing and creating amazing content. So at this time, before I move on, I'm going to stop sharing that particular page. I'm going to come back to you on this side. In our back channel chat area, I'd like you to click on the chat bubble. And of the different examples that I shared a tic-tac-toe board that was really kind of focused for actually middle school kids. I showed a tic-tac-toe board that's for elementary students, as the Eric Carle one. I showcased how you could create maybe an interactive coloring book that actually could be for high school or university students as for a social emotional learning support. Oh my goodness. I've got Lerma, she's joining us from the Philippines and it's 1 a.m. her time. Teacher friends, you are such dedicated educators to this profession. I got to applaud you right now because it's amazing how triumphant you are that you keep improving your skills. If you could you please share in the back channel chat what are you now creating with Microsoft Word as projects with your students or with your teacher friends? And what is something that you'd like to learn more about? Because today we're going to be learning inserting and enhancing more visual literacy with graphics. We're going to be working with tables. We're going to be working with some formatting, and then how you can make it interactive. But you may have a specific need. I need to know what you want because let's personalize it for you today. Creating a tic-tac-toe over for mentor text. Beautiful. Love that idea. Okay. Okay. Yes, and the interactive coloring books, Elizabeth, I also have another session on Thursday. I believe it's at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Pacific Standard Time, that I'll be giving a step-by-step guide on that too. Okay, wonderful. But use the back channel chat. Please tell me which idea did you kind of like or resonate with you, or what is your need that you're looking for? I also need to know that. Yeah, choice boards, it's so important to meet the kids' needs because we know their interests are all over the place. And what a better way to ground it in good, strong literature and then at the same time. Okay, so Carolyn, I think I see at your time, you shared your desktop at this time, Carolyn. So let me just, if you can click on unshare again that you have, let's see if I can. Yep, I think you clicked on share your screen is what you did. Okay, so at the bottom, you can deselect that, Carolyn. You can deselect to go unshare your screen. Okay, thank you. And it's no worries, no worries. That's why, see, this makes it totally interactive. We can all share what we have. Rosanna says she'd like to create some type of tic-tac-toe board to add songs, coloring, book, and outdoor activities. Wow, great brain-based balance approach. Love that, love it. Perfect for remote teaching and learning as well. Yes. Okay, perfect. Geometry, Rochelle as well. It's perfect for middle school and high school kids if you really want to level up mathematics and connect it with their world. Love that idea as well. Okay. Any other ideas that you're looking for, especially if you're a business education teacher, if something more advanced that you're looking for that you can create, not a problem. Okay, and you want to make sure that you can count that as a final project for your students. Absolutely. So even the choice board that I originally shared with you that was for middle school students, you can still ground business education with some great literature, and then around it, have them create a startup business, do a financial plan to support financial literacy. They could go out and interview a business owner. They could build that back in and do the video clip. I mean, there's so many entities to this that you could create. Okay, wonderful. Oh, hospitality and tourism. Anna, I love that idea. Oh, that would be great if they're majoring in that. Absolutely. And then again, have them interview someone right in that hospitality or tourism and finding out the ins and the outs and the pros and the cons of that type of job and what they need to do. Okay, wonderful. Best practices. Wendy has shared too. Right. Oh, the ones that I shared with you, absolutely, I can share with you as a template if you'd like. That's not a problem. You bet. So before the end of our session, I'm going to put it into our back channel chat, those particular links that you can take and make with you. Not a problem. Please note that Microsoft Word has all kinds of collections of templates too. So it's great for you there. Oh, the Shark Tank model for presentations, Wendy said, a business model. I like that strategy. That's a good one as well too. Okay, so teacher friends, what I'm going to do, thanks for sharing. I want to make sure that you have a voice and choice in your learning today. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to make sure that we'll have this back up here for you. And I am going to share my screen again so that you can see where I'm at. So let me share my screen. I'll bring you back up here. Okay, sharing my screen, I'm going to bring you back up to this tic-tac choice board that I even just made this morning. And with this, what you'll be able to see is that I can easily go up and I can go to File. And when I go to File from my top menu bar, what you're going to be able to see, and you know what, this might be helpful if I'd expand the screen. Here you go. If I go to File, what I can also do at this time is I can create a new template right away. I can also save what I have of what I've created today to save as a template. And what the beauty of this is, it's going to give me the extension at the very end, teacher friends, a .dotx. That means that's a template. I'm going to save this. I could save it in my templates, but I think what I'm going to do is for easy access today, I'll save it just to my desktop for now. So that will be one that I'll share out. And when I share that out, I'll show you what it looks like. So this is my tic-tac-toe board. If I now choose my quick access launch toolbar at the very top here, you'll see that I have a little home, save icon, undo, redo, print, and also save as, so I can rename it. I can click on my home icon. That's going to take me back to my particular space of my Word documents of everything that I have. Now you can see that I have here my tic-tac-toe Eric Carle choice board. Whoops, just a minute. Let me make sure that I give you this new share because it went out from there and you're not seeing it. Okay, and let's make sure that you're seeing it. Okay, okay. I'm sharing now my home display of my Word. If it's not showing up for some reason, please let me know because I want to make sure that you're seeing what I'm working on. Now, when I'm in my tic-tac-toe Eric choice board, this is what I just did. I saved to my desktop. You can see that it is synchronized with my particular files. I've got a green check mark because I've saved it. Then I have, let me see if I can make this larger for you. Then I have this little call out, which is a share symbol. When I click the share symbol, this is where I want to first save it to my OneDrive. And I click OneDrive Personal, and I'm going to upload it. When I upload that, I want to enable sharing so that you all can have it. And I'm going to replace that file because I want to make sure that it's there for you. Now that it's shared, the beauty of this is that in my document that I have, and let me make sure that you're seeing the correct page. Yes, you are. Okay. And in this page now, this particular share will allow me, since I've shared it to my personal OneDrive space, I can now copy this link. And when I copy this link, I can share with you to view it or to view and edit. And when I view and edit, you can make a copy of it. So when I go to view and edit, it's now copied that link to my clipboard. And when I go to you at the very bottom here of chat, here is my template of my choice board. Okay. Once you get that, teacher friends, and if you open up that template, my advice to you is to go to File, Save As, and then you'll have a copy of that document as well. So I just wanted to make sure that you understood that process of where we went through. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my home environment again from my quick access toolbar. And from my quick access toolbar, let me make sure that you are still seeing where we should be at. Yep, you are, so that's good. And you can see here that in my personal documents, I have my original document, and then I also have my shared one. And it says 2 other people have already downloaded it. So it's letting me know right away that I've got some great interaction that people are downloading. And look at, you're coming in and you can see the beauty of Microsoft Word. When I share it in OneDrive and I give it that view and edit file, you now can collaborate with me. But the other best thing is when you go up to File from your main toolbar, you can now save a copy. And now you have a copy of that you can work with. That's the beauty of it. Now I'm going to bring you back to my home again. And at my home display of my Word doc, we're going to start right now with a blank document. So if you could follow along with me, I want you to be creating and making right with me. So I want you to go back to your Microsoft Home. And I would like for you to click on blank document, and then blank document, you can click create. Now, when I'm still in here yet, please note that you have a search field at the very top of your home display in Word doc. Whoops, see, more people are coming in. That's why it's flipping over. But what I wanted to share with you, I can easily put in the word up here, booklet of a template. And what's going to happen, oops, sorry, it defaulted to recent. And if I look at templates in my home display of my Word area, the beauty is you've got all of these different templates that you can choose from. If I just put the word booklet by chance, I will get some that are here that may be a little different. I've got more of you coming in right now. If I just put the word template, and I'm making sure now you're going to see all the templates that are in here. You've got brochures, you've got Word documents, you've got event calendars, you've got certificates. There's so much in here. But for time saving sake today, I can click on my left sidebar and click on New to get me back to my home display. And then I'm going to click on Blank Document. And now in the very bottom right corner, I'm going to click Create. When I click create, and I'm going to make sure that you can now see my screen that I'm creating, what we have here is a blank landscape. And in this blank landscape, teacher friends, again, some of you that joined me the other day, our quick access toolbar is our blue ribbon that's on the very top line up here. This is also called our title bar because you can see the title of your document. I like to try to save it right away. And in my quick access launch toolbar, I have this save icon. It's going to default to which document I have open, but I'm going to label this one an example of a choice board. So I want to give it a title, and it would help if I'd spell it correctly. There we go, teacher friends. It's going to direct me at Naomi. It's going to save as a document, which is great, but at the same time, where do I want to save it? Do I want to save it in my OneDrive right away? Do I want to save it in a recent folder? Do I want to save it directly as my hard drive? I could save it on my personal drive because then I could share it right away. That's the beauty of that. So when I save, you will see now at the very top of my title bar, it has the example of the choice board of the new name of my document. Now, just a quick overview before we start creating, you're going to see that I have different sections built into my ribbon. My ribbon is just underneath my quick access toolbar, and my ribbon contains my main content areas of where I can format, I can customize, and I can create with specifics within Word. I have my menu toolbar, and then within the menu toolbar, each setting is called a tab. So I have insert, I have draw, I have design, I have a layout, and so on. So to get started with this, what's happened is I have a teacher friend here. Let's just minimize that just for now. We can go back there. Let's open up our other window. I have some of you still accessing that other shared document, so that comes in at this time. Oh, and by the way, I can remove sharing settings too. After everyone's made a template of the copy of it, I can also deselect it to unshare. So you have that privilege and right to do that as the creator of the document. Now, let's say we're going to create a tic-tac-toe board today, just for time-saving sake and to work with the elements of design here. So I would like you to create a title on your Word document. It can be the same title that you named your document or specifically. So I'm going to create this choice board. I'm going to give it a name as choice board, but then at the same time, it's going to be created as a tic-tac-toe choice board. And maybe I want this one to be, at this time, I want it to be a science one instead. And with science, I'm sorry, it's at the angle I'm typing today that I'm making an error. This is my science tic-tac-toe board. And if I highlight that particular title that I have here, I can easily go back and click on my Home tab, which will allow me to get into my formatting area that I can make changes very quickly. I can increase any of my fonts. I can change the style of my fonts. I can do a drop down to change, but I also have the larger A and the smaller a, meaning I can simply increase my text and my playback right away. I can also center that on my particular board the way that I want it to look. I can do a Control B, or I can click on bold. You've got lots of different shortcuts tools that you can use as well, teacher friends. So if I add a title today, Science Tic-Tac-Toe Board, this will be great. If by chance what I wanted to do, that I wanted to make sure that this name is now consistent with my original name, I can also click on my title bar up here, and what pops out, it says example of a choice board. What I can do is I can simply Control V to paste my copied title into that new title, and then hit return, and then it will rename it. So you have a choice. You can always right click on the title bar to rename it. You can click on it, it will open up, but I use Control C to copy my text, and then Control V to paste it into the rename. Okay, so I have my choice board that's here. If, teacher friends, you are working with multiple documents and you have many pages and you want the formatting to stay consistent, I can at any given time highlight this first title that I have here. And when I highlight that header, I also have my options here that I can choose the design and layout. But what I have here, this is where I can stylize my playback. Stylizing means that I can add a consistent formatting style to each title of each page of my Microsoft Word document. So if I want each one to be as a title, I can choose that as title. And so if I would choose this word now, that if I'd want another title, and let's just say I use the word document as a word, and I highlight it, and I go back up to style, it automatically knows to use that choice styling that I've already chosen. So I'm going to delete that. But you can train your headers and the footers and also your titles to be consistent so everything matches. But you always choose your text first, and then you go in and choose how you would like to have that applied. You've got lots of choices. I can always go back to clear my formatting too. And one more way, teacher friends, that if I have this highlighted, I have a drop-down style pane. That means every one of my styles of my title, from my spacing to my headings to my subtitles, can all be consistent throughout a document. And this is a lot of ways that people use this if you are actually writing a book, because you want that consistency of that workflow to be consistent throughout. So just know that it's there. Okay, we have our title. I'm going to center that. I'm going to hit or click the word enter or return on my laptop that I'm using today. And now you can see that I have an insertion point. My insertion point is my flashing or blinking eye. Now, what I'd like to share with you at this time is let's add an actual table. So when I add that table at this time, I want to go to insert. So anything that you want to insert as an object or anything in the document will always be underneath the tab of insert. When I click insert, you'll see that I have a drop down of a table. I have the beautiful little icon next to it of the arrow that points down. And when I click on the arrow, this gives me the table that I can easily choose to make it customized. I can even draw my table or also insert a predetermined table. But I know I'm going to use something simplistic, so I'm going to use the tic-tac-toe board. So I'm going to choose a 3 by 3. How I'm doing that, I'm just hovering over. You can use your mouse, or I'm using my trackpad on my laptop today. 3 by 3. And then I tap on it, and it instantly inserts my 3 by 3. Now you'll see that once it's selected, by default it's selected, that you will have the icon in the corner with the 4 arrow approach. That means that that is a selected table. That means I can apply and modify things. Once that's selected, you'll see that you'll have a table design and a layout feature that's highlighted that you can apply different types of attributes to it to make it change, to modify. You can see I have all kinds of different types of table layouts that if I really want to make it customized, if I want, and highlight it. You also can choose layout. What I like to use the layout for, teacher friends, is because this helps me instantly instead of always doing a, a control click or right control click on here. I can insert above quickly a cell, or I can undo it, or I can insert below a cell, again, as meaning 3 cells within that row, or I can undo it. In the past, we've had to select and highlight and then go to apply to insert, but they've got our quick feature buttons at this time that I can do a lot of things very quickly. I can also insert to the left as a column and insert to the right. So these quick launch buttons are just a wonderful addition to get to and from everything. Now, here's my strategy. You can see that under the layout also, the height is 0.14 and the width is 2.16. But maybe I want to distribute them so all the rows are equal and all the columns are equal. You have these tools that you can easily distribute that according to what type of content that you already have in there. But I don't have any content in there yet. So my suggestion to each of you is when you have this table selected, as you can see, it easily selects it all, you have cell margins, the icon in here where I can format my table. If I click on cell margins, and if you're not seeing it, teacher friends, choose the tab of layout. Layout opens up your other formatting options for that table. If I click on cell margins, this is where it's telling me what types of margins from the top to the bottom, to the left and to the right. But here's the beauty of this. This is a hidden little tip and trick that a lot of people don't know where it is. This little option says automatically resize to fit contents. When that's selected, that means if I place a picture in there, it's going to take on the total size of that picture. And then the next cell, if I put a picture in, it could be a whole different size. Well, I want it to be distributed quite equally. So I'm going to deselect that automatically size to fit to contents, and I'm going to click OK. Now when I have that checked like this, now when I go up to my height, I may want to make these 2.4 inches in US measurements, and I can click return, and instantly everything is distributed in a well formatted, balanced manner that I want. So again, to get to that quickly, because I've seen teachers before, when you first put that table, they keep hitting or clicking on the enter and return and go click, 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 click. There's a much quicker way to do that. So always make sure you select your table, you make sure you're in the layout tab, and you click cell margins, and making sure this little button here, automatically resize to fit contents, is deselected. So that's a trick or a tip and a trick for you today. Now, let's pretty this baby up, right? Okay, when I select this, you may want to add maybe some background colors, or you may want to change it to have a different type of thickness of the overall table border. There's lots of ways that you can do this. There's at least 3 different ways to approach this. I can easily, when this is selected, I can right click on it. And this is where I can also insert, delete, merge my cells, because maybe one whole row, I want that to be one solid row instead of 3 chunks there. But I've got lots of options. I can also choose this right here where it says borders and shading. And there's another area to do that too, but I'll share with you here first. Borders and shadings brings me up a box where I can instantly apply the thickness of my borders all at the same time. I can also deselect that if I do not want something of a border. I can also look at a page border itself. I can look at shading as of right now, so using the tabs within there. I can say, I'd like it to be a light color that could be pleasant, that's easy on the eyes. Let's do this lighter type of goldenrod. I'll choose that. Let's see what it looks like. It gives me a preview. And when I click OK, you can see it applied the thickness of the border and the shading within the cell. I could also choose just these particular cells at this time. And if I'd right click on there, And if I would go to borders and shading again, that particular is goldenrod at this time. That is our borders that we have in there. My shading for that, let's see if I'd want to change that and make that maybe more like a soft peach. Now you can see that I can make the top row soft peach and the two on the bottom are still a soft goldenrod. It's really up to you. You have such dynamic choice of what you want. I can easily undo something that if I didn't like what I applied by the click of one button. Now let's add some content. If you're thinking of creating a choice board, usually a theme is good. I like to ground it in literature or something that children also have that potential to read and apply new knowledge. Some of you may say, well, that middle space, I want that as a free space, or maybe the middle space is where they actually watch a video. That could be the video playback. And then all the rest of the items around the board are opportunities for children to create and make and to show their new learning of understanding. But to get started, let's insert a picture. Let's pretty this up. Once I insert my insertion point into an actual cell, so if I click on that very first one, you'll see I get that blinking eye again. Now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go up to Insert, and into Insert, I want you to go to Pictures. And in Pictures, you have that drop-down arrow again, because that's where all the goodness is hidden. So underneath that picture, you can browse for a photo on your computer or mobile device. You can add a picture from a file stored on your hard drive of your computer, or you can choose a picture that's online. So if I choose a picture that's online, what I really like about this, let me move this up here, is that I instantly have the Bing search engine that comes as a sidebar where I can choose pictures. So let's say that I'm going to be finding something in science and I maybe want to do an activity that my children are going to have some coding activities. They're going to have some unplugged activities and then some writing activities to support computational thinking and computer science. So right now, I'm going to actually choose a tool that I use frequently that I like to use that's really a K through 12 tool, and you can create dynamic projects. It's a Makey Makey. So when I search for Makey Makey, teacher friends, look at this right away. It shares with me pictures that are in Creative Commons. That means I, as an educator, can use a picture that's appropriately distributed, and the attribution rights are also added that I can use freely within my creation of my particular choice board. Now you can see that here's a Makey Makey. It's a small circuit board. It also has tools that I can create beautiful music actually using a Makey Makey, apples and a fork. Yes, this is true. I have a Makey Makey that I can do video game design challenges. I can actually play musical, make music with fruit, which is great here, and all kinds of things, all kinds of different layers. Okay, yes, I'm going to give my children the Makey Makey challenge. And this one is they are going to create, I'm going to have them create a piano with this. So when I click that picture and click Insert, you're seeing instantly it gets inserted into the top right. It distributes itself to the top, and it gives me the attribution of where that came from. I can, because it's embedded into the picture, I can click on that attribution, and you're going to see that it's going to highlight that as a square within the square. If I click on it again, I can easily delete that out so I can have more visual presence of the picture so the kids can see that. Now, when I try to move it, I can't move that picture. So what I need to do is when you've inserted your picture, if I right click on the picture, you can see that I have an option to wrap text. When I click wrap text, right now it's in line with text. Here's the tip. I want to put it in front of the text. And when I do that, now you can see that I can move that picture anywhere in that cell or to a neighboring cell. So I'm going to put this right here for now. I can easily still make this a little bit bigger without distorting the picture too much. But you'll also see that I actually have a frame around that picture now. So if I right click on that picture, I can still apply a crop. I can format the picture. I can add a hyperlink to the picture. So if I clicked on hyperlink, I could go to makey.com, but let me make sure I get my www in front of that one, and I can click OK. What happens then is my insertion point now turns to the little hand. The little hand lets me know that, yes, this is going to take me out to the website of makey.com, which is brilliant. I could always right click on that picture, click on hyperlink again, and remove the link that if that's not the right link that I originally wanted. But teacher friends, please know, you could also add the link, but look up here. I could have added a document. I could have added maybe my bookmarks that were a collection of Makey links. I could have connected this back to the top of the document or the heading. So this is great that when you have a large document that you can have kids help with workflow to and from to get through content. I could easily add email addresses or a link in there too to take me to maybe the founder of Makey and have my kids do a project and an interview technique with him. So I'm going to go back to the web page. I'm going to leave it as that for now. I'm going to click OK. Now let's add another picture in there. Let's find another one. So I used Makey. Another site that I use when I teach a lot with science with my students that I really like, I like to use, it's called Curiosity Machine. And let's see if we could bring this one up here. And Curiosity Machine is going to bring me all kinds of things, right? All kinds of different things, a lot of rovers and stuff like that. But actually, here is the original site that's associated with, because I know this as an educator, and it says bringing scientists, engineers, and children to create together. And it's true. This is one of those sites that I say is better than chocolate because there's all kinds of academic challenges for STEM, but also challenges to support what teachers are doing in the classroom and then extended to have family members involved. So I've got my insertion point in my second cell. I'm going to choose that picture. Now look at this picture is more elongated, right? It's more horizontal that we have. So let's see how it fits into this space. So when I click insert, look at it modified nicely. It didn't overextend my cells. It kept and distributed that particular space as what I had set. When I go back in here, I can click on the attribution rights that are still embedded. I can get rid of that if I want and just maybe make it just a little bit bigger. But see, I can't move it yet again. So that's when I have to right click and click wrap text and choose in front of text. And that's going to help me with that as well. Now, I could have at this time too, even though I have this here, and if I put my insertion point, let's see if we get this in, because I'm moving it. Let me move this up here for a minute. Let me move my addition here. Let's make it about the same. And right here, this is maybe where I may want to add a text box. And in this text box, what I can do there, I can say maybe it's the link to Curiosity Machine. Okay, and then I can also justify that and to center it. I could highlight this link that if I didn't link the picture, I can highlight the link from here, teacher friends. And what I can do is I can right click on that word to insert link, or I could go to insert at the top. And then you'll see that I have a drop down link here too. And that's the same thing where I can link to what I've noted before, a bookmark or a cross-reference. So if I go to link here, this is where I could put in Curiosity Machine. Now, you know what? I don't quite know that particular link right away. So let me see. This is to insert there. Let me go out and let me make sure that I have the right link. I'm going to use my Microsoft Edge browser, and I'm going to go to Curiosity Machine again, making sure that I have the right one. And from that, I'll go out just to double check. I want to make sure. Yes, so it's curiositymachine.org. So I'm going to Click on copy. And yes, you are seeing what I have here. Okay. And again, like I said, it's got design challenges. And the design challenges, let me make sure that you're seeing, yep, you're seeing the correct thing that I'm seeing. You'll see the design challenges, teacher friends, that there's over 9 pages, but they're all connected with STEM and real world projects. We're talking artificial intelligence, science, biochemistry, or I'm sorry, biomimicry, pardon me, civil engineering, computer science, robotics. Oh, it's all here. Material science, isn't that interesting? Build a nanopipe, quantum dots, you name it. Other things that I have, let's see, inspired by Boeing. So if I want to do something with engineering, robotics and flight, wingspan. Wow, this is incredible. Lots of ideas. So you also have AI family challenges that you're going to see here. Here's become an AI expert agent. Strengthen your AI agent with data, picture innovation. So lots of fun, right? Lots of fun. Okay, let's get back to what we're doing. Sorry, didn't mean to sidetrack you, but I want to give you all that goodness all the time. Okay, so when I'm back here, let's make sure that you're seeing what I'm seeing now. Yes. Okay, just double checking that you're seeing that. Okay, when we're in here, I can now link this back in, insert that link very easily, click Command V on my machine that I have, and it's going to link it right back in there. And now you can see it's linked. So you have an option that you can link the content here or there. Now, another option when you are creating this, teacher friends, I have a lot of teachers that what we do for strategy and workflow. Maybe I want to bring, let me unlink this just for a minute. I'm going to remove that link so I can move it, because if I don't remove that, then I can't move it. Okay, let's put it there because it will launch the site. This may be an area that I want to actually insert my text box here. And in this text box, I may want to say that these are the directions to be successful with all of your choice board activities. Okay. And then I may go on to say point 1, point 2, and point 3. It may be, this is what you need to do first, this is what you need to do second, this is what you need to do third. So that's another way that you can blend that in with your choice board of activities. Directions help with workflow so students have a stronger understanding. Once again, you can fill this choice board up as much as you want. Some teachers start small, give a directions cell, and then they give them 2 choices. Some teachers will do a direction cell, and then they give 5. And then when the children get the sequence down of understanding what they're expected, that's when teachers will do the full choice board of having 9 challenges. But that means that they can do 3 the first week, 3 the next week, 3 the week after that, and so on. So actually a choice board can be many weeks of great learning opportunities for your students. Now, the other tools that we have that you could pretty up your choice board, please remember, if you want to customize this, you've got your header and footer from your top formatting bar as well too that we have here. I can insert page numbers. I can even insert WordArt. And WordArt basically will pretty up your design. And WordArt also will allow for me to create something dynamic. So what I can do, even if I put my WordArt down here, I can say, welcome. So you can see how the text looks down here, right? But if I insert WordArt and I choose WordArt instead, now you can see that I get a text box that will come in. And now if I write the word welcome, now you'll see that it makes it more dynamic, more of a presence. I can actually change it, move it around. I can actually put it way at the very top if I would choose to do that. I can make it larger. I can make it smaller. It just depends what you want to do with your WordArt. A lot of times teachers like to put it at the very top if they're doing it as a welcoming and as an eye catcher for the students, or it could be that's the highlight for your directions that you have. You could take this and move this down and welcome. This could be linked also, your welcome of your WordArt can be linked to a welcome, a personalized video link or it can be a personalized message from you as a teacher, because you could add media here. If you've got a pre-recorded media clip, you could also add a browser, audio browse, that you could go out and find your audio clip that you've recorded. You can choose audio from a file that you've recorded. So sometimes for children to be successful, if the text is too complex in the directions, they can simply click on the welcome or the icon of, like, it looks like a voice. Children can hear themselves, or can hear you as a teacher speak, is what you can do. You could also build in the immersion reader on here to have everything read back to the children if they're needing that, to hear that be read back to them. So teacher friends, I'm going to stop sharing at this time. I've done a lot of talking, but let's go to your back channel chat. What questions do you have? Okay. And what questions do you have, or insights that you'd like to share, or questions that I didn't get a chance to answer yet because we're just getting to the back channel chat area? Oh, how do you take off the line space between your title and your table? Basically, that line space, if you have an extra space in there, you can simply put your insertion point and click delete. It will take that back to that if you'd like to do that. Somebody asked, do you have a site I can go see for different boards in the academic areas? You could easily do a Microsoft Edge search right in Bing and look for choice boards according to a specific area. So if I'm teaching something with literature or on a novel or a book study, I can search up to choose book study choice boards, or putting in the grade level. There's lots of choices that way too. Make sure that you have a theme or an identifier, put in choice boards and then your grade level. And you'll see even on Pinterest, it's amazing all the different choices that you have as well for design ideas. Okay. Can I set the table and cell sizes so images does not resize a cell? Yes. And Carolyn, what we did again, just so that you can see, let me go back here. I'll share my screen and I'll go over that again. Not a problem. Let me get back in here. I'm going to share the screen with you. This is where we left off. This is where, when I have this particular table that's in here, here's that tip and trick again. When I select the table, then I'm going to go back into my, let's go into just a minute, my layout view. And I want to go, I have design and I have layout. In my layout, when I get to my margins, let me see if I can get in here again. When I get into my margins, here we go. You're going to see where it says cell margins. When I click here, this is where you need to make sure you deselect from the beginning when you're making your table, to deselect automatically resize to fit contents. If this is chosen, every picture you bring in, it's going to constantly resize. If I have it deselected, that means then that everything's going to stay according to the dimensions of my 2x5 and my 2.17. So I hope I answered that question for you. Okay. Okay, and I hope there are tips and tricks, but right away, it's always about creating something that's so dynamic. You don't have to recreate a lot of things, but use a really great teaching lesson or design idea, and add a great choice board for your students. That's what's really important. Children want a choice of options of creating and making, but also showing what they know. Build in also within your choice board a reflection component. Link into a Microsoft form. Do a survey with your kids, or have them do another back channel chat of some form, or a quick exit ticket. Lots of ways to do that too. Okay. All right. Wonderful. And I know some of you had to leave early because you're teaching yet. Absolutely. Oh, great. Everyone had a lot of different ideas that were in here today. Wonderful. Again, please tap back into q.org/Microsoft. There's all kinds of different types of learning that's taking place, teacher friends. All kinds of different levels. We're going to be teaching all through the month of September. Hope to invite you back. I'm on 3 times a week, so please feel free to reach out to me. My email I'll put right in here if you have further questions. Glad to help out. It's just naomi@naomiharm.org. And then also, if you are on Twitter, please let's connect more and design and share ideas. It would be wonderful. So on Twitter, I'm at Naomi Harm. If you want to exchange more ideas, you could also follow the hashtag of Microsoft EDU. You could also follow the hashtag of GETA, which is our Global Educator Technology Academy. That's what this is. Lots of ideas are being shared, but the amount of teacher friends that are presenting and giving of their time, I'd say tap into somebody different every day to learn, because we all teach and present differently, but as long as you can take away 1, 2, or 3 tips, it's going to increase your productivity and build your own teaching and learning confidence. So I am very grateful that I've had the wonderful hour of opportunity to work with you and learn with you. So thank you so much, teacher friends, for joining us today on this Microsoft Word Part 2 and designing some just-in-time projects for your students. I will be presenting on Thursday of creating a dynamic coloring book for supporting social emotional learning on Thursday at 5 p.m. on Pacific Standard Time. So I hope you can join me then too. Okay, thanks everyone. Have a great day.